Are you thinking about moving to Loganville, Georgia, or maybe even looking around the metro Atlanta area and you're trying to figure out which city actually fits your lifestyle? Hi everybody, my name is Allyana Fastring and I am a realtor located here in Monroe, Georgia. I do also service other areas in the metro Atlanta area, and be sure to click that subscribe button, like, comment any new content ideas that you want me to cover. So yeah, let's get started with the video. Okay, so first, let's talk about location, because this is one of the biggest reasons that people are looking to move to Loganville. So Loganville sits between Atlanta and Athens, which gives residents access to a lot of different surrounding areas while still having that suburban feel. You're roughly 20 minutes, maybe sometimes 10, depending on what area in Loganville you are from Monroe. You're about 10 to 30 minutes from Lawrenceville, and you're about 30 to an hour from Atlanta, depending on the traffic. And honestly, traffic is something I always tell people to consider when looking anywhere around Metro Atlanta. Distance and drive times are not always the same thing. You can be looking at somewhere that is 20 miles away, and that could either take you 30 minutes or that could take you an hour, just depending on those midday, morning, night traffic. So if you are moving here, I would definitely recommend to drive that distance before knowing exactly how long it's going to take, because that will make all the difference. The feel of Loganville. So one thing that people really like about Loganville is that it gives you that middle ground. It's not a tiny rural town where you feel far away from everything, but it's also not in the heart of Atlanta where everything is moving nonstop, constant traffic. You have your grocery stores, your convenience stores, restaurants, coffee shops, gyms, and pretty much anything, fast food restaurants, all of that close by. But you can also find neighborhoods that feel quieter with more space and might be a little bit on the cheaper side. A lot of people are drawn to this area because they want a yard, more square footage, a neighborhood feel, or just even a slower pace while still having that access to shopping, restaurants, and those kind of surrounding cities. All right, now let's talk about the homes in Loganville, because this is probably what a lot of you are wondering about or here for. So one thing I personally think is interesting about Loganville is the variety. You'll see established neighborhoods with older homes that have more characters and mature trees, but you'll also see a lot of newer construction communities coming into the area and are constantly being built and developed. Depending on what you're looking for, you can find things like larger homes, more yard space, newer layouts, more of a open concept, and communities that are going to have plenty of amenities such as like pools, parks, dog parks, stuff like that. So compared to areas closer into Atlanta, many people look farther out into that surrounding area, such as Loganville, because they're trying to maximize what they get for their budget. Of course, in Loganville, and such as any other area, every neighborhood is going to be different, which is why it's important to look at not just the house itself, but also the location, the commute, and kind of the lifestyle around it. And so you can kind of know what you're getting yourself into. So when we're talking about home prices, Loganville has a pretty wide variety of options. On the lower end, you can sometimes find homes in the $300,000 range if you're looking at smaller homes, older homes, or homes that may need a little bit of updating. But once you start moving into the $400,000 to $600,000 range, you'll typically start to see more options like larger floor plans, newer construction, better communities, updated finishes, and more square footage. And Loganville does also have higher end properties, especially if you're looking for larger lots, custom homes, more privacy, acreage. You can find homes going into the $700,000 to $800,000 range, depending on what you're looking for. And this is one of the things I think is interesting about Loganville, is that there isn't just one type of buyer here. You have people buying their first homes, people moving up into larger areas, and people looking for simply more land and a little bit more privacy as well. When you think about the lifestyle in Loganville, when it comes to things to do, I do think that Loganville is a quieter lifestyle compared to being directly in the city. If you're someone who wants a nightlife right outside your door, somewhere like Atlanta or Buckhead, which is obviously going to have more of that, but Loganville is more about, I think, convenience, community, and having a comfortable everyday lifestyle, more so in not a rural, but more suburban kind of area. you can still go over to Monroe and visit local small town shops, small town businesses. You can head towards Lawrenceville, and you can go to Buford for places like the Mall of Georgia. So you're not stuck in just one place. You have a lot of opportunities and things around you while still staying in your budget. But if the nightlife is something that you are more looking for, I would definitely head a little bit closer to Atlanta, just because the commute is to Atlanta to go to like nightlife stuff is going to be probably quicker and more convenient for you in Atlanta. I think it just kind of depends what you're looking for and what lifestyle you're kind of wanting to live. Pros of living in Loganville. Some of the biggest positives that people are noticing is, number one, the space. A lot of people are moving further away from Atlanta because they want a little bit more room. Number two is obviously going to be the location, because you have that, again, access to multiple surrounding cities. Number three is the balance. You can get that suburban feel without feeling completely disconnected in such a rural town, because it's definitely going to be a little bit harder there to make broader connections. But here you still have the convenience of being able to live in a more quieter place that's budget friendly while still being not too far away from other activities. Things to consider. Of course, no city is perfect, so there are some things you're going to want to think about. The first one is commuting. If you work closer to Atlanta, make sure you can actually test that commute. Second thing, obviously, again, is lifestyle. I stress this so much because that is something that is going to be really important to your happiness and your contentness with where you're living. If you love being able to walk everywhere, go out every night and have that city atmosphere, Loganville is going to feel quieter than that. Yes, we have some parks around here in Loganville, but it is obviously nothing compared to wanting to walk everywhere and wanting to go out. Everything here is going to close pretty early rather than later, and it just really depends on what you're looking for. So let's take a quick breakdown on what it's like living in Loganville, Georgia. At the end of the day, choosing where to live is not just about the house in itself. Of course, that's very important. It's about your lifestyle, your commute, your goals, and what actually feels like home to you. Thank you guys so much for staying till the end of this video. Again, I am a realtor located in Monroe, Georgia, and I do service the Metro Atlanta areas of Georgia. And if you do need a realtor to help you with buying or selling, whether you're a first-time home buyer or whether you're an experienced seller, just let me know, and I will put my link down in the description for you guys to click on if you need to get into contact with me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Bye!